Vlad Ethereum Classic.
Yeah, so I'm a bit retarded. I actually decided to reshoot this entire video because I was like, I'm not editing it, and I talked for way too long. So we're just gonna go through this again. I've got time. It's like that Incredibles meme. I've got time. I don't care. But first off, before we get into this, we're gonna talk about Solana staking, uptime, Fidelity Fidelity talking about this. Um, comparison with Ethereum in terms of its supply, right? And then I'm gonna compare it to Ethereum a little bit. Talk about some DeFi protocols, and then we're not gonna talk about Solana Beach. Talk about smart money inflow. Right, we're gonna talk about smart money inflow. But first off, gentlemen, I just want to say subscribe to Capital Gentleman. Make sure you follow Capital Gentleman Twitter. Uh, you know, Fitness, Wealth Simplified, Prosperity Mastery. Um, you might as well go ahead follow the main page. Yeah, that's the dude over to the main page. Might as well follow the main page. But yeah, let's get into it. So first off, I want to talk about Solana validators, right? So when we're talking Solana validators, right, you're kind of bringing up an argument for the Ethereum guys. They're like, oh, it's Solana centralized, but I'm like, Ethereum centralized too. In my opinion, I don't think any of this stuff is decentralized. My argument here is that, I mean, my argument here at the base case is they're just as centralized as each other. Like, this is all basically fucking ran by the Solana Foundation and some select individuals, right? Like let me not get it twisted. And then you've got the Ethereum validators, all ran by the big exchanges. And down to here, you can add it up if you want, but down to like OKX, it's basically 4.1k validators controlled by the top 7 staking entities, right? So moving on past that, neither Ethereum and Solana is centralized. When people say decentralization, I think that's a lie, but I think you don't need for something like Solana, man. Like, you're not looking for decentralization, you're looking for speed, and you're looking for a regulatory friendly protocol. That's honestly what you're looking for, especially with not decentralization. So especially with USDC, they can already freeze, and they're talking about US Visa using USDC is final settlement on Solana, right? That's kind of yeah, that's basically the argument there. Moving on to my next point. So in terms of just redoing this again, right? So I want you to look at the total supply, right? 560 million, right? But then you look at the non-circulated supply and you're like, oh, 25% of it's locked up. And then you look at circulating supply, you're like, oh, 74% is available. And then you go over to current stake, and then you see 99% of the supply is locked up. So really, if we do the math, it's like 19 million Solana available, which honestly makes so much sense to why the price is what it is. Which is like I might this I'm kind of bullish right now. Like, I don't dang. This is pretty good. This is really good. I didn't think it was going to be like this good, but like it is. Especially for like a bear market too. I mean, I would still look out for like downside prices, but at the same time, bro, we're in a bear market, bro. Like at least by a little bit. And we're gonna I mean, if we're not closing below certain price points after a while, and we don't like retest some lows. I mean, I'll be for real, the bottom's damn near in. The bottom is damn near in now. Whether you buy in now at a 50% off the low, or you buy in now, it'll make a tiny bit of a difference. It'll make a little bit of a difference when it comes to like your total capital gains, like your return on that. It'll make a kind of a small difference, but I think when we zoom out on the charts, man, seriously, when we zoom, I'm not joking. When we zoom out, when in doubt, zoom out, right? And we're talking crazy valuations for Solana. Like, only you're gonna be the only one to know you got it at a 50% higher price out the low. You're gonna be the only one. And in my opinion, 16 cents isn't that bad of a price point. So let's just take this. We're about at 21. That's 22 $22. Okay, I'm gonna just call it 23, and it didn't even work. So redo that. 20. Okay, 23. Whatever. 500. Bro, you're looking at like a 2,000% gain. Like, and you zoom out, you're really not gonna know who's gonna care if you bought. Like, bro, by the time the chart gets up here, nobody's gonna care if you bought at $8 or $20. Now, like, you might care, like, that's a fact. You might care, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. I mean, like, we're at premium accumulation prices. Bitcoin halvings next year. We're 4 months off of that. Actually, no, 6 months. No, 5 months off of that. I don't see why you have to stress, but I understand when people want to get a little bit lower prices because we are going to go lower anyways. So moving on, because I'm trying to get through this faster than I did last time. So Solana has seen an astounding inflows of more than 20 million this week from financial institutions, according to a recent report. So just getting to the facts. It's by Wise Crypto. They review like crypto and like smart money, blah blah. Clearly, Solana has seen 24 million in new investments. It was the best week for Sol since March of this year, and it has been 55 million in terms of year to date figures. So that's something to talk about, right? If you're talking about who's buying, if the institutions are buying right now, you got Visa involved, Shopify involved, mystery institutions, and you got Fidelity talking good about it. I mean, I don't, it's not, they're not even pressing hard on the marketing because there's nothing to market at the bottom of the bear market. Like, people just aren't interested. But the fact that the big brains are still interested says a lot about bull market potential. But if you compare it to everything else, right, inflows into Ethereum stand at 10.2 million, showing off, a tepid appetite, whatever that means. They're going to launch, Ethereum ETF, futures ETF. Sure, it's not spot though. I mean, the Bitcoin ETF coming up later next year, but that's not now. It's not anytime soon, and it's not gonna. It's gonna pump like obviously, but it's not gonna be as big as everybody thinks in the short term. In the longer term, it'll have a bigger effect because they're gonna have to accumulate to ride off the hype of the bull market as traditional investors finally touch some allocation in that class, right? Bitcoin investments totaled 42.7 million. Obviously, Cardano's just sucking right now at 200,000. They're just ass. It's a joke. It's just like 200,000. Like, you're not. Nobody's accumulating. I'm sorry. In my opinion, like all the Cardano guys are like, like it's like I don't understand. I don't understand the maxi. the maxi point. I'm like, why can't we just all make money? Like, why are we like, oh, this has to be the biggest block? I'm like, this is just some nerd talk. After a while, like nobody, number one, nobody cares if you have the best. Like, if you're the one to finally, like if you the one to find the next Ethereum, like sure, whatever. But at the same time, if you're not taking profit, you're round tripping these cycles. What are you doing? What are you here for? Like all the XRP guys that wish they took profit last cycle, and now XRP is not even going to its, it's probably not. It's definitely not hitting an all time high. Number one, that was in 2018. Next, number two, halfway it can't. It didn't even. It's probably not even going to hit its old cycle high, which is not even an all time high. And it's like you got people like that, but then you got people that like just are over invested emotionally in these founders. And I kind of feel like if Anatoly Yankovenko dies, I kind of feel like Solana's fine because they actually have, someone that's not just like the main. He's not the only Hydra in on the Dragon. Like there's a bunch of guys, and then Solana Foundation has a certain amount of support that just isn't gonna go away even if he dies. Right now, Cardano on the other hand, people are gonna tweak in Cardano if what Charles dies, right? Just because they just, I'm not gonna lie, they're just meat riders, bro. Like they just I don't know why they're so invested in what he has to say. In my opinion, I think you just need to just get your bags, low price, sell them off. It doesn't matter. You use the narrative to dump on people, and I mean, I guess the only reason why people were more emotional instead of intellectuals, because this isn't this is this is this is retail mindset investing. So that's the only conclusion I can come up with to why people are so dumb. But moving on, with 7 months uptime, right, with Solana, so that's cool. 7 months uptime. People talking about the chain going down, and my thing is like, if the chain goes down on Solana 3 times in like, let's just say 15 months, but Ethereum, their gas fees spike up above $70 for a basic transaction. Like, you're not gonna have me paying $70 to send over $200, and that's gonna be every day in the bull market. So why like people are acting like that's not a different version of the chain going down. Who cares if the chain is actually on? Like, obviously we all care, but fact of the matter is, if nobody on a regular lifestyle can use the chain without random variables sending up prices sky high, so that sending $100 costs half the transaction, half the total, then I think Solana and Ethereum have both gone down. Like, and they're talking about that ETH2. Both of them, it never solved scaling. So I really don't know. Like, they're talking about proto dank sharding. I mean, nobody cares about that nerd shit. nobody cares. Just fix the problem. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, bro. Like, just like let us make money without getting scammed for 30 a transaction. Like, can we just saw? And they're talking about layer twos, and it's like let me just go to this because I talked about this already. It's just obviously had to redo this. I'm gonna just copy and paste what I memorized. So it said Ethereum TPS is like 15, 14 per second. So we take 14 divided by like times 6x what the layer, scaling solutions can do. 14 times 6, 84 transactions max per second with the layer 2. And then you got to bridge gas, etc. You got to pay to do that. You you do times 60, 5,000 transactions a second. But I mean, no, a minute. But if you take Solana's like 4.5K times 60, you got 270K per minute. And I think that says a lot. I think this article over here is comparing Solana to Ethereum. And I just want to point out a certain amount of issues where is it at? Is it at? I think it was bruh. We're gonna have to go to the history. Solana Peach. Over here. So over here, right, you got the issues with Ethereum that's listed. Just looking for developers. Like this is a lot, right? Slow transactions, switching and bridging, inconsistent wallet support, usability issues, and then you got transaction speed, gas cost, optimization, deploying across multiple networks. You know, like what these issues and keyword. This is like developers, but at the same time, half of these don't even just apply to developers, like gas costs. This all applies to the everyday user. I don't think it's just developers. The fact that you can do all this stuff on Solana for cheaper, and in Visa and Shopify didn't choose Ethereum. They chose like the 15th crypto or whatever. It says a lot about the chain. Smart money literally went out the way to choose a worse token on a market cap scale. Like, not that that actually means anything, but it kind of like it shows you what they actually care about, what happens and how they've actually gone about developing it. It's not about how much money's just stuck in it. Like the fact that 400 billion is possible on Ethereum, total market cap, etc. That doesn't help Visa scale for their customers. Sorry to inform you, but higher prices don't scale. like like that's what we want, but they don't scale. Like that's not no. You need to scale so you can get higher prices. But moving on, just going throughout this article. Um they said it's surface level analogy or whatever, but I don't think so. Um See, I like how they said understanding where we are in the financial and technology cycle is essential for investors. Bear markets are the best times to survey the market and pick new winners during a significant consolidation. The fact that this, placeholder venture capitalists um, went over this aspect on, I mean, let's just look up this brand because I want to make sure that because they've been talking about this like it's a big thing, and I'm like who is this really? Like who is this really? Is this a big company? Is this like who is this? Is a venture capital firm that okay? Got to be a kind of big. Oh, whoa. Okay, yeah, they got billions. You could just tell. Um. So yeah, this is relevant. It's not like a Fidelity, but it's a VC firm that their opinion kind of does matter. Um. I think I'm gonna move on off of this though. This is what I was talking about when I said 5 to 6x. They were talking about Ethereum and Solana, like Android and iOS, and I don't think that they're anything the same. I think these are two completely different competitors. Because number one, iOS doesn't like Ethereum. They just deleted MetaMask off the App Store, so that's kind of like wrecked. Um, I mean, you can still access your money, but like the iOS does not care. They don't care about. They don't care about crypto. Like well they kind of do if they can get their little 30% fee, but that's not going to happen anytime soon because you can't take off 30% in NFT fees and send that directly to Apple. It's not going to happen. Um, and then, in my opinion, like they both got phones coming. Like Solana already has a phone out, but or something with the Ethereum phone. I think what it's turning into is kind of like to be a competitor. Maybe in like 2030, you're gonna have to have a phone associated to your blockchain, maybe, and not just be like apps. Because I mean, they all have apps, right? But I think it's gonna be like depending on the way big tech responds to having these apps on their app store, it could come to a point where they're like, you got to have your own phone, but then traditional TradFi still messes with it. So you have like a weird dilemma where bankers mess with it, but big tech doesn't, which would make a lot of sense because bankers could get more power by investing in this technology, and then they just, the tech guys lose power. But at the same time, like, because they're not going to consolidate on like making sure that they can get a piece of the pie while sharing it. They just want all of it. So that's, I mean, but at the same time, though, Android seems to be pretty okay with the way, I'd be really surprised unless some like regulatory claim out. It said that they can't have XYZ apps, but that doesn't make any sense because they're trying to release a Bitcoin index trading fund spot. So, like a spot ETF. So that doesn't make any sense. That wouldn't make any sense. Um, yeah, Fidelity. I didn't talk about this. Um, but yeah, here's what they said. What I don't like about these articles is that they never link the main article that they're talking about, and then everybody always talks about the news, but then it's just screenshots of articles talking about articles. And I tried to find the actual one, but they just wasn't letting me. So I don't know if any of y'all want to try to do that. Like, go ahead, I guess. But projects that have shown the ability to be successful and create something promising have done so by attracting proper talent and retaining their user base. Ethereum and Solana provide a great example of what is possible for a protocol that can attract a large amount of developers, build a usable platform, and gain a loyal network of users. When done right, there is clearly a lot of value that can be created for investors. So, like, my argument a little bit is if talking about like developers, usable platform, loyal network of users, like I think Solana has the win with the usable platform. Ethereum might have more devs. And then I say like obviously they got their like Ethereum 2018 guys, but really that's just the people that got rich off of it. And it's probably gonna happen with Solana like it happened with XRP. Like there's always gonna be that group. It definitely happened with Bitcoin. But I think in terms of competition, it comes down to these two is mostly because this is what gets smart money attention. This doesn't. They care about how many users, but ultimately they know their investment is going to facilitate the actual amount of users they want to see or what they believe is possible. That's kind of why Visa's getting on. Like if Visa didn't get on, if Shopify didn't get on, will we be estimating that more people are going to become a loyal network user of Solana? Like probably not. But the fact that they had to choose shows where the mainstream, at least narrative, is going on the mainstream, on the next quote unquote mainstream crypto. Um, hmm, I like how they point out the price here, like it's relevant. Like again, the Solana supply is literally Like the Solana supply is so much less than the Ethereum supply. Active liquidity, like it's so much less. So like obviously smart money could dump like FTX, the FTX guys have like 70 million, but they're still on a certain lockout period over the next like 10 years, so that they thought ahead of that vesting schedule. But that's, yeah, that is something to think about. But the fact that it's only 4.5 less, honestly, if FTX didn't happen, Solana would probably be $60. It would, at the bare minimum, it would be like $30 at the bare minimum. So I mean, this is kind of a steal a little bit. Um, Talking about, yeah, I think Marinade Finance though is a good play. Gito Finance, Lido, obviously, it's the same as Ethereum. You got your lending services, Dex services. I think Orca could be a good play if you're going to look into this. I'm trying to remember what else I wanted to say. I really don't think I wanted to say anything else. Um, I really don't. Yeah. I don't think so. I think, and I'm running out of time anyways on this recording. All right, I'll see you guys later.